Listen.
My name is Daniel. I'm from Taiwan. I've been doing cardistry for 7 years, and thank you for buying Triplex.
Daniel, why don't you have an accent, as in a Taiwanese accent?
A Taiwanese accent? Because my parents, they speak English with each other. My mom's Thai, my dad's Taiwanese, and they met in the States, so their common language was English, and that's why I speak English first.
What can you tell us about the cardistry scene in Taiwan?
The cardistry scene in Taiwan? Well, there are lots of people doing it, but they generally, Taiwanese cardists, more of them are still attached to magic relative to other communities. And I don't know, I'd really like to encourage the Taiwanese community to create more original moves, because most of the people are just learning the most mainstream moves and trying to get good at that. And there aren't nearly as much creators in the community as others, so yeah.
How do you think cardists can graduate from being consumers and learners of other people's moves to start creating their own stuff?
I really don't think there's a right stage, because for me at least, I basically didn't learn any moves. It was just civil and that's about it. So I don't think it's really, you have to reach a certain level or a certain stage, because I think it really limits your creativity, seeing too many moves. And so I think it's just rather a decision to just not stick to the general mainstream style.
Do you think that learning too many of other people's moves will,
it makes you create similar stuff? Yeah. I think especially two-handed cuts, and seeing too many people do two-handed cuts nowadays, especially, yeah. And so recently I've also been creating a lot more two-handed cuts, and yeah.
Okay, let's talk about your moves for a while. It seems that many of the moves on this download are geometric in nature. Why is that so?
There's really no particular reason, because like I said earlier, I didn't really start by learning other people's moves, so I didn't get a lot of the more technical mechanics down. And so really what I just started approaching shapes and displays first, because it's the natural thing to do. So, and that's why I started with shapes and just stuck with it for a very long time. Well, when I created Brusque, Pharaoh-related moves were just the big thing, because moves like Ripple, like Water Wheel, and Unzip, and so, yeah. Yeah, and so you kind of have to try out different possibilities with Pharaohs, and that's just how I ended up with the two. And of course, it was also partially inspired by Andre's, what was it, Instant Classic, the Pharaoh into Triangle, yeah. So to do Brusque, you start with a Pharaoh. Then you first start by regripping your right hand so that the middle finger is on the short edge on top with your thumb on the bottom. Once that is in position, you do the same for the left hand. And so because you pull the top apart with the middle fingers, you can naturally slide half of the deck upward, like so. You then apply pressure with both your index fingers and just push forward to form this cascade. Once at least half of the cards are pushed out, you squeeze down with your middle and thumb on both hands to form this diamond here. Then to close, you push in with your right index on the bottom here. So you push this triangle inwards, so they should merge. Then you let go of your left thumb and allow this top packet to fall, and just close this last packet on top. So for Brusque, having a newer deck would help because it is more stiff, and under a humid climate, the deck gets a bit more moist and softer, and so the cascades don't break as evenly, and also you can't do as good of a Pharaoh, of course. And another tip is that when you do the move, you want to make sure that both of the cascades happen simultaneously. Otherwise, the move won't look good, or you'll get one of these, where you finish one side too early and you don't know what to do with the other, and it just doesn't look as even. Yep, and that's it. Come on. Okay, there. See, so sometimes when you do this move, you get these cards in between, and so you must first try to make it fall into the position you want it to, because that occasionally works, but then if it doesn't, you would have to use your indexes to shift the cards so that they go into the right position, and that way you can go into the closer. Yeah. I didn't really think of triplex. I was just playing with one-handed triangles separately on each side, and I came up with this thing a very long time ago. And then, it was at least 2012. Yeah, and this came a lot later, and then I just thought of putting it together. So there's really no great vision or story behind the move. It just came over time. So to do triplex, you have to first split the deck, and you will have to do 2 separate one-handed cuts. So I'll first start with the left hand. You start by having your thumb reach towards the shorter edge on the bottom of the deck. You then want to lift about 1/3 of the cards directly upward, like so. Then you want to push this bottom packet upwards with your middle finger, so that it completely touches your thumb here. Once you're in this position, you can split another half of this bottom pack here with the left middle and pull it downwards. So then you have this triangle here. Right. So on the right hand, you also start with half a deck. You first do an index cut with about 2/3 of the deck on top. You then want to position your right ring on the towards the right of the upper edge of this bottom packet, and you want your pinky to go under this packet, so you can clip the packet like so. Alright. So what you want to do is you want to swing this packet outwards by pushing forward with your pinky, so that it completely clears with this packet, and this should allow your right index to be able to move downwards and reach your pinky. And so once you're in this position, your pinky can hold onto this packet, this bottom packet, and then your index splits the packet to form a pulls it up to form a triangle, like so. So now that we've covered the two separate one-handed cuts, to put them together and form the combo as a whole, you execute the one-hand cut on the left hand so that you're in this position, and at the same time you want to do the one-hand cut on the right hand so you end up in this position, right? So that should happen at the same time. Then your hands join together to form what would be a cross when seen from the front, and then to form the two triangles, you just pull the packets, split the packets as instructed earlier, and rotate both your hands counterclockwise from your perspective, like so. And to close, you first start by allowing the packet closest to you on the left hand to fall. You then swing this outward and let it lie on the right hand. You drop this packet between the left thumb and index. Then you allow this packet to fall on top. And you close this triangle by pushing downwards so that both packets fall on top of the main packet in dealer's grip. You're then left with this packet. You flip the packet upward while clipped between your ring and pinky still. You then retain one card and pull it over while the left hand does Rev 2. And you end with a revolution cut and a one card twirl.
How do I make it look the best? What will make it look best?
Make it look the best?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the move looks good because of how the two one-handed cuts are put together. So to make it look best, you want, when you're in this X and you're going to the triangles, you want to make sure you do this spin, right? Yeah, that helps a lot. For the left hand, a common problem people have is that they will end up shifting the top packet towards the left, towards the side, like a scissor cut, because that's just the natural thing to do. People know how to do a scissor cut. And so what you want to avoid that. You want to just shift directly upwards. And what you want to do is you want to lift your left thumb and index as high upward as possible so that you have space for this card to slide backwards. Because otherwise, if it's stuck in this position, you get tension from this packet above, so it's harder to slide up. So you want to make sure you have enough space so they can easily slide up, like so. And then you can get the triangle. For the right hand, to make this triangle look good, because your pinky is originally in this position here, and after you break off, this pinky is just kind of still sticking there awkwardly. But to get it out, you want your ring to basically push this packet downward so that your pinky can slide out, like so. And so you get a full triangle without the pinky stuck inside. So another common problem that I have a lot is that when you're in this position, when you want to split this packet, you want to make sure that your right index has as little contact as possible with this packet here. So, because if you're completely in contact with this packet, what happens when you try to split the card is that you'll drag one card out along with it. Right? So to avoid that, you want to have as few contact as possible. So ideally, it's just your nail sliding across the card, so it doesn't have any friction and doesn't drag anything out, like so. Yeah. Yeah, so it was inspired by the Orca. I just thought interlacing your fingers, you could use that to hold a structure somehow, and so that's basically how the move came about, and I came up with it around the time of Offhand, so yeah, it was inspired by that video.
So you created it based on a curiosity of
what you can do with, or yeah. So to do Troika, you first start by splitting the deck in half, so that you start with half the deck in each hand. You then reach over with your thumb, as if you were going to do the thumb cut, and split a third of the pack, of each pack, with your middle fingers, like so. Then what you want to do is interlock your fingers with your right index on top and your left pinky on the bottom under these two packets, so you form a V-shaped surface for these two packets to rest on, like so. Okay, so once you're in this position, you want to just shift all of your fingers upwards to display this V, and at the same time you want to let go of half of the pack from each thumb, so you get to this display with 3 Vs. And to close, you just pull your fingers back down. You want your thumbs to reach over to the edges of these two middle packets. And so now you're in an awkward position where your fingers are interlocked together. To pull them apart, you just want your right index to grab the top edge of this packet right here, so you can hook onto it as you pull your other fingers apart, like so. Then you end up with 2 triangles, and you close them with a Charlier cut, and just roll this packet over. So for Troika, whether or not the display is done right can make the move look very different, because in the beginning when I first started this move, I didn't extend the fingers in between as high as I do now, and so what you get is just this kind of, it's just not nearly as good. So what you want to do is you want to lift your fingers upward more, so the display looks a bit more, it looks bigger basically. Yeah. And I think another tip I want to give is that when you're forming this square, you want to be sure that your fingers interlock enough for both packets to rest on the side, because if you don't, what you get is it's harder to maintain and they could fall off, like so. Yeah, so you want to make sure they're interlocked deeply enough for both packets to rest on top. That was actually less than a month ago, Chimera. It was, well, it's just because people like Tobias, they have interlocking moves like Hyperflex. Well, it really started with Aviv and the broken triangle, but yeah, interlocking moves are just cool. Yeah, and it was also also inspired by Zui, because the starting position goes, I go directly into that cut. So yeah. So to do Chimera, you first start with your right middle and thumb on the bottom of the packet. You want to split about 10 cards. And you want your left thumb and pinky to be on the upper left and lower right corners of the deck, so that you can also split one packet like so. They should both be around 10 cards. So to start the move, you first pull this packet outward with the right hand. You execute Flippy by Dewey, so that this packet flips over. And so now you can pull the packet on the right hand backwards, like so. So now you're in the position to clip the bottom packet with your right ring and pinky. So now you can pull your right hand outward. Then you want to turn your left hand from palm up to palm down. And so what happens is this packet on top will go under, like so. And now you want to clip this outer packet here with your left thumb and index. And it's supposed to be on top of the other packet you're originally clipping. Okay. Now you want to turn your right hand so that this top packet comes out like so. Then you're going to regrip the packet clipped between the left pinky and thumb by reaching over with your left middle and getting into this position so you can extend this packet freely. Right, once you're here, you extend the packet, and so once you've regripped the bottom packet, you want to pull this packet here through this packet between your left thumb and index right through this hole. Alright. Then you want to extend your middle ring and pinky also through this hole. So you're in this position. And now you want to pull this packet clipped between your right thumb and middle through this hole here. Alright. And now if you just pull this packet backwards, like so, you can form a triangle and display for a short bit. Then you extend this back outwards, and you basically reverse all the motions. So this packet clipped between your right hand goes through the same hole. And once you're here, you want to slide this packet upward so that your right pinky can reach this short edge of the packet clip between the left hand's thumb and index. Then you roll this packet over. It pivots around your left index, and now it can rest on your right hand. Then you flip this packet here with your right index. You just kick it upwards. At the same time, you want to flip this packet clipped on the left hand on top of this packet. So this goes right on top. So because this is flipped over, you can now push the packet upwards with your index again. So you close in this position. Then you just push the whole deck upwards with your left thumb. So it should fall in this position. and you flip the whole packet back into dealer's grip with the right hand, like so. Certain angles look a lot better for the move at different times. So for example, in the beginning, you don't want to start like so. You want to show them this side of the pack so that when it splits, they see all 3 packets. But once, as you proceed, your hand will end up blocking them. So what you want to do is you want to lower your hand so they get to see the interlock between your 2 hands, right? And also, when you get to this part over here, you want to show them all of the packets going through the holes basically. So once you're here, you could just go directly there, but you should rotate the packet, rotate your hands a bit so they can see this packet directly going through, like so. And similarly for this packet, you have to turn downward a bit more so they can see it going through. Otherwise, the packets block each other and it just doesn't look nearly as good. And also, a deck with a smoother edge generally helps, because when the deck comes in contact with certain parts, you want them to go through each other as smoothly as possible, otherwise the move just looks clunky. Yeah.